and I am an American in Bangkok สวัสดีครับทุกคนยินดีต้อนรับสู่ช่องสกอตมาเลนเป็นไงบ้าง Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and how have you been? Um, yeah, hopefully we are live, everything's working well. If not, please let me know and I'll try to fix whatever it is that's wrong, but it should be working fine. Right now, I'd like to give a shout out to all of the channel sponsors. Thank you very much. Kapkun Tukon Mak. If you'd like to show your appreciation for the channel, there are a host of ways to do so, like smashing the like button, subscribing to the channel, purchasing a shirt, one of many shirts or hats or mugs. But anyway, everything is down in the description if you want further details. So today I was supposed to go to a cannabis farm, a cannabis and kratom farm, as well as a lab, which to me I find quite interesting. And hopefully that will translate into a video that is quite interesting. I was supposed to go today, however, the trip's been postponed until next week, unfortunately. I was a little bit bummed, but you know, things happen. And I'm happy to be going, and it should be very interesting. The whole weed culture nowadays compared to how it used to be is so strange to me. Because, you know, in my day it was like, let me have some Mexican dirt weed or some Colombian gold or Panama red, or if I was lucky, Thai stick. And it's completely different now, you know, obviously. With the legalization around the world, there's a lot of places that it's legal now, and so things are quite a bit different. From how they used to be, and it's strange for me because I haven't been involved in any way really for many years, and so I find that to be quite interesting. And for me to go to a farm, like a legal farm, to where it's like, hey, let's check out this strain, let's check out that strain, and by the way, let's go check out some kratom, and then you know, let's go to the laboratory. Well, it's not 800 baht a gram everywhere, and that's the thing. Some of it's more expensive than others. There's stuff that's 250 baht. There's stuff that's 500 baht. And you know, to me, it is what it is. Listen, the market will bear the price that it can bear, and some will like it, some won't. I don't really care because I'm not a big smoker. I'm not a big user of the stuff or anything like that. And for me, I'm going from the standpoint of someone who wants to make a decent video and who wants to learn about it, because I am interested in it, because it's such a huge step for Thailand and for other parts of the world. I mean, look at the United States now, and you know, there are some problems, obviously. And this is what this is one of the things I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the problems that can occur because of the legalization. And it's not just from a physical standpoint that I want to talk about it. It's even more than that. It has to do with money. And also I want to talk about taxi drivers now. They're in the news again. And of course, the the monkeypox, which I find at this point to be, how can I say, without coming off the wrong way, not that I really care, overly dramatic, overly cautious, a bit freaked out when you shouldn't be. And you know, the thing is with the governments is that they're always supposedly out to protect the people. Now, I don't always buy that, of course. That's not the case. They're out for their own interest most of the time. But anyway, we're going to talk about that a little bit. And as I said, I will be going to this farm. It's a cannabis Gratom farm, and also there is a laboratory where they test everything, which is quite interesting to me. Because when I was younger, I didn't have a clue. I was just like, hey, this is some good stuff. Okay. I had no idea what percentage everything was. I had no idea why there were very few seeds and why there were a lot of seeds. I didn't know any of this stuff. So I'm a rank amateur when it comes to weed. I just smoked the stuff when I was younger. Now, like I said, many have expressed concern about the recent legalization of marijuana in Thailand, and the authorities they say that they're concerned about the high potency and the long-term damage it can do to a person's lungs and brain cells, and how they're going to overdose and how it's going to ruin the society and all these other kind of things. But there's something else that you need to consider. Thailand is one of these places, and I don't know, without generalizing too much, if you look at things around the world, governments around the world, they're just a bunch of people, and sometimes they screw up, sometimes once in a while they do something good. But Thailand is a government that is known to flip-flop. They flip-flop quite a bit. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody is well. They flip-flop quite a bit. So I was thinking about it because I was thinking about this farm and some of the bigger companies that want to get involved here. They want to really ramp things up. And also in the United States, where in states it's legal and some states it's legal and the federal government says, no, it's not. What happens if you start up your business? And this is a big risk. This is a huge risk. It's massive. What happens if the legalization is repealed? Now, you may think, oh, that'll never happen. But this is, like I said, a flip-flop government. It's always been like this. Doesn't matter who's in charge. They flip-flop. They release information. They go, well, maybe it's not that way. Okay, well, what way is it? Well, we're going to have to get back to you in 3 months, and we'll do a test and we'll check. Now, they're trying to pass some further laws to make it safer for people. The only thing that I would say is that people smoke cigarettes, people drink. They're going to do what they want to do. You can try to lock everything down. You can try to tell people, don't do this, don't do that. Quite frankly, I think in the case of weed, I think, they can just say, just like alcohol, hey, if you're under a certain age, if you're under 20, you're not allowed to buy it. Pregnant women shouldn't buy it. Now, if a pregnant woman goes and buys drugs or whatever it may be, alcohol, which is a drug, tobacco, which is a drug, she knows. She knows it's not good for her. Well, not all the time, but many people who are pregnant tend to be grown. Then again, some are 16 years old or whatever. But anyway, that's another story. So anyway, the authorities are concerned about all these physical problems and, addiction, overdose, it's psychosis. And, they come out every once in a while with these kind of what I call rather over-the-top, it's over-the-top, an over-the-top mentality. And Thailand has, it seems to me that they have it's just like with alcohol. You can't buy from this time to that time, and you can buy well, people will, if people want to drink, they're going to drink. They'll drink grain alcohol. So why don't you just be like, hey, we're not your daddy, but we're recommending that you watch what you drink. Now, I'm going to get into this a little bit later, because it definitely doesn't work. What they're doing now, it doesn't work. They have a problem. They have many problems. They have problems with drugs, mainly with yaba. I never really knew that there was a problem with weed in Thailand, and I always tried to just I just wasn't around it. I'm not around a lot of people who are smokers. Not to say that I haven't ever been around people here, but that do smoke or, uh, make brownies or whatever. But next year is Thailand's election. And think about this. You got people putting millions of dollars, millions of baht, millions of dollars into this industry. They believe in it. They believe it's going to continue, and it's long term. What happens if a new party comes into power and they, and that in Thailand and elsewhere, people can be like this. They start up with the reefer madness. Oh, he's going to overdose. He took 2 hits off the marijuana and his life was never the same. Oh, it's a gateway drug. The only reason that it's a gateway drug is because people who use weed, who smoke weed, sometimes, not all the time, they are around people who are using other drugs. So they don't always have to get involved with these other drugs. It just happens, well, hey, I'm smoking some weed. Listen, I've never tried coke. I might as well do a couple of lines, see what it's like. And the next thing they know, I like it. I'll do it every once in a while. And some people get drawn in, they get sucked in, and some people don't. But what happens if the new party comes to power and they declare weed a scourge on Thai society, a scourge on their people? Now, I kind of doubt that this is going to happen, but what happens if they say, we're only going to allow it for medical use only? If that happens, yeah, that's not good. And that's going to cause a lot of economic damage. People talk about, oh, you're smoking weed, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. All right, show me people that have been affected long-term by the use of weed. I understand that if you smoke a lot, there's a possibility that you can get cancer. I understand that. But if you smoke tobacco, you can get cancer. If you walk across the street, you can get hit by a car. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. Okay? And, so I'm a little, I buy into things slowly, and I don't buy into what the government's selling. So, that's something else. But finally, your subject. Good morning, Fire Dude. Fire Dude, where are you located? Oh, you're in Singapore, right? Oh, I forgot. I thought maybe you were in Thailand. Intelligence services run the illegal drug markets anywhere. Yeah, okay, whatever you say, buddy. How about the farmer who's dealing with some guy who started out with very little and he's making a go out of it. Oh, the intelligence services, it's all them. No, it's not. Don't be spouting bullshit, please. Try not to be such a freak about things. About, oh my God, it's all a conspiracy. They're all after us. No, they're not. Most people don't give it. Most people in the government couldn't give 2 shits about you, or me, or anybody else for that matter. They just want to go to work and get their paycheck. Farm in Udon, but we live in Singapore. Oh, okay. Well, that's too bad, but all right. You're obviously very new to this subject. Okay, whatever you say. Listen, I'm not that new, buddy. I was smoking weed probably, I don't know how old you are, but I was probably smoking weed while you were daddy's little squirt. So, listen, I don't say that doesn't happen in some places, but I can tell you that there's a lot of things going on in Thailand that if they have anything to do with the government, who knows who's getting a cut or whatever, but you're saying intelligence services. Listen, maybe in the old days they were involved with opium and heroin and that kind of stuff, and also marijuana, but nowadays, forget about it, buddy. Anyway, let's move on, because I don't want to get into this with you, really. It's not that important in the scope of things. I'm on year 27 of smoking weed, way more than the last 10 years. Well, all right. So the thing is, and I noticed that this was from a couple of days ago. This was from, what's today? The 27th, so 3 days ago. But there are 851 medical personnel who signed a statement demanding an immediate end to the recreational use of cannabis, claiming it poses a threat to the public health system and to the short and long-term health of the people. Well, I don't hear him saying anything about tobacco. Don't hear him saying anything about alcohol. Don't hear him saying anything about gratin. I don't hear that. Why not? Is there some reason for that? Oh, marijuana is so much more deadly than alcohol? I don't believe so. The statement, which was signed by 851 medical personnel, said that the Public Health Ministry's announcement removing cannabis and hemp from Category 5 of the illegal narcotics list came into force on June 9th, while there is no policy on how to control their use, resulting in widespread use of the plants for recreational purposes, included by the young. Now, they say included by the young. The thing is that supposedly you're not allowed to buy if you're under 20 years of age. So now they need that's a different subject. Now, I don't know if this is a law yet or not. You can, Fred, how you doing? You can smoke on the balcony as long as your neighbors aren't going to get pissed off about it. I'm sure that in some way, some individuals in the government are making money, which, you know, that doesn't mean it's the intelligence industry. Listen, if you trust any government 100%, you're out of your mind, really. You shouldn't trust your government. I don't care what government is. Why would you trust them 100%? They're fallible just like others. They do stupid shit. You think about how many idiots are in power in the United States. Not to mention here in Thailand, which I'm not even going to mention any names. You know. And the thing is that as of now, I don't believe that there's any tax revenue going to the Thai government. Well, that's what I know as of now. I don't know everything. I don't claim to. It's fairly new, and I'm still finding things out. But that is the reason why I'm going to discuss some things with the people. Hey, Carlos, how you doing? I'm going to be discussing a lot of things with the owners of these farms that I'll be going to, and also the growers and other people that are involved, the scientists. I will be talking to all of them. So I think to me, that's very interesting, and it's something that I wanted to do for a long time. But let's proceed. Now, like I was saying, the big danger is not that. I mean, listen. If a 16-year-old kid who should not be allowed to buy weed really shouldn't be. I know because I started when I was 16 years old. I started smoking weed, and it was a regular, everyday. Go through a bag of weed every couple of days. Big bag of weed, an ounce. You know, it used to be an ounce was $25. You get 30 joints out of that. That's what I remember. And we would go through that pretty quickly, me and my friends. I don't know that people are, first of all, the potency is much higher now. And so I don't think people, well, I don't know. If you're Snoop Dogg, who knows how much you're smoking. But let me continue with this here. Hanging tough, but have some pain. Will suck it up and drive on. You going back to Pathia now, or what? Here in the States, the most mature market is Colorado. Their tax revenue is declining, $700 a pound average price. They say extracts are illegal. They use solvents and high pressure to make. There's no clarification on things like bubble hash, solventless hash. Dude, I understand what that is a little bit. I think there's something called, what is it called? Oh, there's red bubble guatam, which I was reading about yesterday. That's made in a different way than usual. And I did used to smoke hash and things like that, but the way that I understand it is when they're saying extracts, I don't even think that they've thought it through to where they're thinking about these things. Oh, you were in Pathia from Wednesday till Friday, so you're going back up. Well, the sky is always falling here, and that's one of the problems. Is sometimes I think they really need a logical voice of reason, and I don't know that the public health minister, Kun Anutin, I don't know that he is the voice of reason. Now, I did speak with a guy at a shop the other day, and I said, "Do you like him?" And he said, "I used to hate him. Now I like him because he's my boss." So he knows he's important to the movement. And this is the thing: what happens if he gets booted out of power in the next, 8 months or so, 9 months? This group of doctors also claim that there are many scientific and research papers that show cannabis has negative effects on the brains of young people. And that was what I was going to get to a little bit earlier. I think when I smoked, when I was really involved in it, and that was for about 15, 20 years, I don't think I really knew the full extent of what I was doing, because I pissed away a lot of time, and I just think it was something that it didn't do a whole lot for me, physically or mentally or anything like that, except in the negative. And I hate to say that, because I know there's a lot of people out there who love to smoke a joint when they come home from work and relax and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't get that, because I like to do things to excess, and stoned to the point where, like, there's no doubt that that you're stoned out of your gourd, it meant, like, if I had, it just means excess. So I'll just stop right there. They also voiced support for a network of academics and civil society organizations who earlier issued an open letter to the government calling for the suspension of the decriminalization of cannabis and for hearings to allow all stakeholders to participate in the drafting of a national cannabis policy. Well, I hate to tell them, but they can still launch this campaign and draft a national cannabis policy while it's legal. They're not going to just turn it back and say, okay. And the government has already responded and said, they have already said, sorry, no dice, we're not shutting it down. Dre, I have already done that. I'm not completely oblivious to what's going on. And to be honest, I don't like it too much. I don't really, it's just like alcohol. I mean, I think my alcohol is still upstairs. I got, 6, 7 bottles of tequila. When the last time I drank a shot was? I have no clue. It's been a long time. I could have a shot. I'll have a shot, with dinner or something like that. I could do that. But I don't. I just don't. Throughout the ganja I purchased for 1,500 Thai baht for 5 grams. Had low THC, less than 2%. Yeah, well, if it's 1,500 for 5 grams, that's way down on the scale. They're probably giving you some Thai stuff that was not very good. Remember the good old days in the 80s. Humboldt Purple Sensibilia in Northern California was the creme de la creme. Yes, I remember that kind of stuff. I was two guys fired up 2 big ass blunts and I smoked it in the open. Well, I'm not going to say that people can't smoke out in the open because they can do whatever they want. However, if there happens to be somebody around, like the police, or somebody who is close to the police, they'll nab your ass. And even now, I think, okay, they'll nab your ass, and guess what they're going to do? They're probably going to give you a little slap on the wrist, and that means, hey, do you know you're not allowed to smoke out in public? You need to go home. That's probably what they will do. Now, I'm not certain of that, but that's, knowing the Thai system and what the way Thai people work, I would say that's the worst that's going to happen for now. I was at a Subway here in LA yesterday, and across the street was a cannabis shop. People constantly filing in and out of there nonstop. Wow. They were smoking it right there, huh? Now, see, that's surprising to me, because it would be very easy for somebody to rat them out and have some cops come in and, you know. Yeah, I know what Kinnery is, Charles. Listen, I know about this, all right? I do know a little bit about it just from research and going into places, and I have indulged on occasion in the past few years, but just out of curiosity, really, and now I don't really have any desire to really get into the whole culture. And from an outsider's perspective, I find it very interesting that how it's changed from then to now. But I mean, there's stuff that's being sold that's 25-30% here. I talked to my friend at the Hilton Bangkok. I asked if I could smoke on a lounge balcony. No one was on. She said it's not a problem. People come and complain, and you have to stop. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it is. It's kind of, listen, think about how Thailand is. If you know how Thailand is and how Thai people are, as long as you're not pissing somebody off, then you can do it. You know. Now, what that does, and what I would say, is it puts you in a position of disadvantage. And what have I said about that in the past? I have said you don't want to put yourself in that position. Because if by chance you're at the Hilton and the wrong person comes out and he bitches and moans, I can't believe the hotel is letting this person smoke, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, he's going to stop. Yeah, okay. And he tells somebody, the cops come, and they just decide, listen, you know, and the hotel gets irritated. It's just I really don't think at this point they're going to be throwing people in jail because it's kind of new. But in the future, if they lay down some of these laws, I think it's going to get a little more strict. And I don't see any reason why, if there's nobody around, you, like if you're sitting at the beach by yourself and you want to puff a doobie, that's your business. To me, it's your business. I'm one of these people who I think less government, I think less interaction from the police. If you're not hurting anybody, leave the guy alone. You know, and I see things all the time in the United States and elsewhere where the police actively go after people. And I'm like, okay, so is this a financial thing? Of course. Because why would you mess with somebody who's not bothering anybody? Police in California don't arrest shoplifters. Yeah, I've heard that too. And I find that, and I thought there was something where one particular place, I thought I saw something where they made, I think it's $900, not $1,000, but I don't know. I think what they did was they made it like 900. Everything was at least $901, and then you got a coupon for whatever it was. So that, you know, if it was a $1 item, you got a coupon for $900. And that way, if somebody stole the item, it was over 900 and they got busted. People, you know, the cops, you know, you can say what you will about, and listen, you know, I try to see it from both sides. I try to see it from the standpoint of the coppers and you know what they have to do, and I try to see it from people who are minding their own business or who are committing crimes. You know, both sides. And I think for the most part, the Thai police are extremely reasonable. That's not to say that there are not a few bad apples who might take things to the extreme or what have you, but that's going to happen, you know. There's always a few bad apples in just about everything. Now, let me go on here. So we already know that there's a lot of medical professionals who are calling for this, for at least for some action. Decriminalization of cannabis and hemp is the flagship policy of the Bungjai Thai Party, the second biggest party, led by Public Health Minister Anutin Charnvirakul. The problem of the recreational use of the herbs by the young stems from the fact that the cannabis and hemp were decriminalized while amendments to the Narcotics Act to regulate the use of the two plants and their extracts are still pending in Parliament. So these things are still pending, and these people are, you know, complaining about it. And all right, they have the right to do that. But, you know, I was thinking about something. There are always people who want to tell you what you can and cannot do. And there's always the other side, the people who are saying, hey, screw you. I don't have to do what you tell me. What gives you the right to tell me what I can and cannot do? And, you know, there is something to be said for the fact that this is a weed that grows out of the ground. It's been used for literally thousands of years. If somebody wants to do something, like smoke a doobie, like eat an edible, whatever it is, I think it's on them to keep themselves from overdoing it and having a problem with it and that sort of thing. You know, just like with alcohol. I think if you're going to drink, you're responsible. If you get smashed and you start screaming out, you know, something negative about Thais, and then somebody from behind a bar jumps out and beats the hell out of you, well, you got what you deserved. That's how it works here. The random backpack searches around Sukhumvit come and go. Will be interesting if that will pick up again. I haven't heard of that happening in years. And it's never happened to me. Ever. And this is almost 30 years now. It's never happened. Maybe twice I've been walking along and there was a cop, and the cop said, hey, how you doing? He just got into a conversation with me. Now, maybe he was luring me in to see if, you know, he could find out if I was doing anything wrong, like if I was overstayed or, you know, I had a visa, whatever. But they've always been very good with me. And the only thing that I would say, again, is don't put yourself in a position of disadvantage. If you are overstayed and you're waiting to get it taken care of by some agent, or you're waiting to go in because you don't have the money or whatever it is, why would you go out and go partying when you know there's going to be police, like out in Pattaya? Why would you go out there and show your face? Why not just stay home for a couple of days until you get things together, you get it taken care of, you go out? Because you know what? When you go out and you don't have that necessary paperwork, you don't have things all lined up, you're putting yourself in a position of disadvantage. They'll boot you out of the country. They'll do whatever they want to do, whatever it might be, you know, whatever the consequences, whether it's throw you in jail or what have you. All right. So now, the thing is not only is it these medical professionals who are calling for further action, it's also Southern Islamic leaders who are pushing for further coordinated action against the Thai government after being unhappy with cannabis decriminalization. Now, the last time I looked, it was 4 provinces. It was, I believe it was Songkhla, Yala, Pattani, and Narathiwat. Now, Satun is part of this. So, 5 places, and they're all calling for further action. They're urging the government to revise the decriminalization of cannabis and hemp, and apparently the government has not responded at all. On Monday, July 25th, the Royal Society of Thailand also released a statement opposing liberal marijuana and urging the state to implement control measures for medical use under international standards. Okay, but let's face it, medical use, like in the United States, all you got to do is go in. My arm, my back. Doc, can you help me? I think I could use some marijuana. Boom, there's your card. You pay the money, you get out. You think it's going to be any different here? It's not. They need to wake up. It seems like, well, I'm kind of anti-government everywhere, but that's neither here nor there. Good morning, everybody. The statement also requested the government to conduct strict monitoring and surveillance of the public use and the side effects of cannabis and cannabis-infused products to prevent long-term consequences caused by marijuana on health, society, and the nation in the future. Well, I don't think that that's a bad idea necessarily. However, I don't like the monitoring and surveillance of the public use. I think they should really take a look at some of the previous studies done in the United States, the Netherlands, Portugal, and see just how things have panned out. Then they do their own little study and they figure it out. And it could be over the course of, say, 2-3 years. It could be, something ongoing where after 10 years they look at how things have changed. And what I don't get is, like in the United States, the federal government could virtually wipe out the national debt simply by saying, okay, we're going to charge a tax on marijuana. They could probably, I don't know. I don't know the specifics, and I haven't done it and tried to calculate everything, but let's say 10 years, they wipe out the national debt. That's all it takes. And there are some other questions, some questions that not only I have, but I think that many others have. And that is legalization a good thing where governments and their citizens prosper and reap the benefits? Will it mellow society out and maybe the murder rate will go down? Or will it create a society of stoners who don't want to do anything? They want to just lay around. I know some people get motivated when they smoke, but if anything, legalization or decriminalization means less people incarcerated, which at least for citizens is a plus. Why does anybody who has marijuana in their possession, a weed, why do they need to be in jail? I never have understood that. They don't need to be in jail. Come on. For those people in the business of locking people up, more customers equals better, equals more money. So if they're taking away all those convicted of weed-related offenses, it might just cost them some huge revenues. But I think the biggest thing, my biggest concern is, what about all the people, you say it's legal, and you put your life savings into a business. You put everything you have, you put your blood, sweat, your tears into the business. And then the government just says, oh, well, we're going to change things. Sorry, we're going to repeal this. First of all, it would be easy just to say, it's not fair. No, it's not fair, but a lot of things in life are not fair. Okay? So we have to get past that. Because nobody cares about it's fair, it's not fair. Nobody cares. Here's the thing, though. You're talking about huge sums of money. And also, one of the questions that I want to ask, and I know already, you kind of know the answer. maybe I'll be surprised. But one of the things I want to ask the growers is, okay, so what were you doing before you started growing weed? Were you growing weed illegally? How were you making a living? And how has this changed your life for the better? Has it changed your life in a negative way? That's something that I think is quite important. But you see, governments generally, they think about, hey, what's good to keep us in power, not necessarily what's good for the masses. That's my opinion, like it or not. So, all right, next subject here. Let's go on here. Let's see. What is this? Yeah, okay, so how many, does it say how many liters? Okay, here we go. So, you know, these Southern Islamic leaders who were pushing for more action, eventually they were responded to. And the committee drafting final laws for cannabis essentially dismissed, however politely, the concerns and demands of doctors and Islamic groups. So there you go. Right now, things are holding. I just kind of wonder, and I'm curious to know how shop owners and suppliers feel about this, but when the new when I'm not going to say when the new government comes into power, if a new party, there is a new government, things are not status quo, and the government decides, sorry, we don't like this legalization of weed. What recourse will they have? Because I don't think they're going to have very much. And so I think that's something important. But like I said, they shot that down. So they, for now, the weed industry is safe. For now. All right. So now, what I'd like to know, and you can put this in the chat, or you can put it down in the comments. Let me know what you think about, you can put legalization of weed worldwide, what you think about it, and also specifically Thailand. There are some reasons why people believe it shouldn't be legalized here, and you may be one of them. So leave a comment. I understand, you know, well, I mean, even in the Netherlands, it's tolerated. It's not totally legal. Today was supposed to be the day I was going to the ganja farm. Now it has been postponed until early next week. However, it will be ganja farms and kratom farms, and also a laboratory. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hey guys, help support the channel, show the love. Click the like button, subscribe, go down in the description, check out all the ways you can help support the channel. Become a member of the channel. I'm starting to put up some behind the scenes, some videos that you don't get to see on the channel, and some other stuff, and I'm trying to ramp it up, so I'd appreciate it if anybody wants to join, or like if you just check down in the description, there's a host of ways that you can help support the channel, show the love, show the like. I'd appreciate it. You can get yourself a shirt, a hat, a mug, whatever, like one of my books, or you can just keep watching. All right, so let's go to the next subject now, which is taxis. Taxis. Thailand and its taxis. Now, since I've started using Grab and InDriver, and to a much lesser extent, although I did use them in the past a bit more, Bolt, I have had really zero problems with taxis. There used to be problems, where you'd be standing on the side of the on the road in the rain, and some taxi driver would pull up, and you would say, "Oh yeah, I'd like to go to this place," and he'd say, "No, no, no, I don't want to go. Too much traffic." And you're like, "Yeah, but you're available." "Oh, no, no, I don't want to go." Well, that technically is against the law. Now, if the guy doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go. I mean, you know, you don't want to be too difficult about it, but sometimes it's frustrating, not to mention irritating, that they don't want to pick you up when it's their job to pick you up. And some people still complain because taxis don't want to turn on their meters. The last time that happened to me was coming from the airport. The last time was when I was coming from the airport after going to Hong Kong. I just got back to Hong Kong. My first thought was, "Oh man, it's nice to be home. Oh yeah." Then I get in a taxi. I got in a taxi that was part of, they have the booths where you go in and they give you they give you a receipt and you go in and the guy, there's a number, you go and the guy takes you. The guy didn't want to turn the meter on. And he was like, "No, no, no, no meter, no meter." And I said, "Yes, yes, yes." And finally he'd almost gone out of the airport and I said, "Then you stop right here and let me out." I'm like, "I'm not going. You turn the meter on." And finally he turned it on. And of course that soured my experience with the guy. He didn't get a tip. Which, they just don't understand that, like, if they treat you well, maybe you'll give them a tip. If they treat you like dirt or like you're an idiot and they want to charge you, extra, they want to charge me 600 baht for something that costs 200. Sorry, I don't subscribe to, I've got to pay triple just because I got in a taxi and my skin is white. That's not how it works. There's a reason why they put the meter in, and the meter is the law. Now, new rules are being implemented as of January 1st next year. Thai taxi, tuk-tuk, and motorcycle taxi drivers are being reminded that the point deduction system introduced to control their behavior will go into effect January 1st, 2023. This point system was introduced December 1st of last year, but had to be postponed due to the pandemic. A point system has been devised by the DLT, Department of Land Transport, to control the behavior. Now I'm just going to go over these real quick. Each public vehicle driver starts with 100 points, which will be deducted every time an offense deducted from every time an offense is committed. Once all the points are gone, the driver's license will be suspended. Category 1 offenses: failure to display the ID card, which means they don't put the ID card in the inside of the taxi. And sometimes, they have their brothers or somebody else is in there. That they really need to get that squared away. But that's a 10-point violation. Use of an unregistered vehicle, 10-point violation. Vehicle does not match registration papers. That's pretty serious to me. Using a personal vehicle to pick up passengers, well, unless you're part of Grab or whatever, I don't know why they would do that. Being a nuisance to passengers. So that's only a 10-point violation. A 20-point violation is not using a fare meter, using the meter, or a GPS certified by the DLT, refusing passengers, taking unnecessary detours, or using routes not agreed upon by passengers. Now, I have had that happen to me. It's been quite a few years, but the guy basically did not want to go the way I told him. And I said, "Listen, I know I go this way all the time. I know the directions. I know where I'm going. You go that way." And then he didn't do it. And I was like, what the hell? I got pissed, I was like, and he's taking me, because he wants to make an extra freaking 30 baht. And I'm like, this is not how you go about it, buddy. Abandoning passengers, displaying poor manners, being rude, insulting, sarcastic, or aggressive, consuming alcohol or intoxicants while driving. That's only a 20-point offense. Less than 50 milligrams per 100 milliliters of blood. Hang on a second here. Using vehicles that have crossed their lifespan. 1 second, I'll get to the category 3 offenses. What is this here? Can you put up a Mike and Rye dad hat in the merch store? Black with white lettering. I don't know what I have up right now. Not sure. I can, I guess. I don't know what I have up. I don't have it up now. Mike and Rye unisex truckers cap. What do you want? You want the one that's the same as the I Love Thailand? Okay, well, you could always just send the $28 and put Mike and Rye dad hat in there and just do it that way, so I don't have to go in and change everything. There's probably a reason why I didn't put it up. I don't think I have the mugs up either, which I need to get done. But my time is very limited lately. You get arrested for unregistered vehicles. Yeah, I mean, some of these guidelines are just weak. And I'll tell you how I believe the Thai government thinks is that, hey, these are our people. We don't want them to suffer. We don't want to take away this guy's way of supporting his family. He may have a wife and 3-4 kids. We don't want to take his method of making a living away from him, but we want to penalize him. But we want to make him know, hey, if you do this 1 or 2 times, it's going to be a real problem. If you do it 3 times, you could lose your ability to make money. And that's kind of how they think. They at least that's my perception. They are not real quick on going, okay, you do this, you're gone. And let me read these 30-point violations to you because, just the fact that they're drinking and driving while they have people in the vehicle and you are a taxi driver. This is your job. They're drinking on the job. To me, that's like automatic, boom, you're suspended. Do it a second time, you're done. No more driving for you. Category 3 offense, 30 points. Displaying obscene behavior in the presence of passengers. What that means is if you're jerking off in front of some chick, you get a 30-point offense. Okay? Jerking the monkey while you have a pretty fare. Exactly. Driving recklessly that can cause damage or injury. Tampering with the fare meter. To me, if you tamper with the meter, that should just be automatic. You're done. You mess with the meter, you try to screw people that way, you're gone. Consuming alcohol or intoxicant while driving, more than 50 milligrams per 100 milliliters of blood. Yeah, see, I don't know what that equates to. Using an expired or suspended license. So effectively, if I was Thai, I could go out, I don't have a license, I could drink, and I could jerk off in front of some chick, and I still would be able to drive a taxi. Some serious offenses will result in all points being deducted immediately, including offenses that affect, here we go, the country's image or reputation, driving with no consideration to people's safety and well-being, and causing accidents resulting in multiple injuries or death. I would hope that they'd be reasonable, but I wouldn't bank on it. According to DLT rules, licenses will be suspended for 90 days once all points are deducted. 2 suspensions in 3 years will see the driver losing their license for 180 days. I mean, to me, that's just ridiculous. So this guy could feasibly jerk off, be drunk, and drive on a suspended license, and he still will have 10 points left. Then he does something else, boom, then they suspend his license for 90 days. He gets back to driving, he does it again within the 3 years, and he loses it for 6 months, and then he goes and starts driving again right afterwards. To rebuild their points, all drivers must undergo the DLT's training courses and pass the exam. Shouldn't they have to do that before they learn to drive? A 2-hour course will win them 50 points, and a 4-hour course 100 points. So basically, they can do all of these things. They can go do this 4-hour course, and they get everything back. They get all their points back. And so it's like nothing even happened. Drivers can undergo training once a year, and those who fail the exam can retake the test 3 times in 7 days. Oh my God. That's really pretty ridiculous. Now, all this while Thailand is suffering from a drunk driving epidemic. And I shouldn't laugh. Despite a campaign to deter people from drinking and driving, 7,141 people were charged with drunk driving during Songkran 2022 in Thailand. Among these drivers, 13 were ordered by the court to wear an electronic monitoring device. They were also forbidden to leave their houses for 7 days between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. God, these are some pretty weak laws. The Public Health Ministry will send those who are found to be at risk for alcohol dependency to a medical facility that specializes in alcohol rehabilitation. A repeat offender will be sent for rehab and behavioral adjustment for 3 days. They will also be required to report to probation officials regularly and perform community service. Now, I don't know how much, if you are seriously in trouble, you have a big problem with alcohol, 3 days is not going to do it. I'm sorry. And I feel for people, who they need to drink and everything like that. Of course I do, but I feel more for the people that maybe you'll kill when you're behind a wheel. In Thailand, many drunk driving cases result in suspended sentences. Thus, as long as they do not get caught, they can go on living their normal lives. Weak drunk driving enforcement, you think? Penalties for impaired driving in Thailand are quite moderate and reasonable, but the biggest issue that has caused so many alcohol-related accidents is weak law enforcement. Everybody knows that driving under the influence of alcohol is neither safe nor legal. But with the very loose law enforcement, they are not afraid of getting caught, and they are not afraid of the laws. This is the thing. You need to put the fear of Buddha in them. Seriously. They need to be fearful. Hey, although drunk driving is a highly irresponsible act and shows disregard for others, Thai enforcers often accept guilty pleas for injury caused by negligence or recklessness, which carry lower penalties than impaired driving. Under Thai law, drunk drivers can be fined up to 200,000 baht, it's quite a bit, and or incarcerated for up to 10 years, as well as having their licenses suspended or revoked. However, leniency is often granted by the police and courts. You think? I can tell you that the majority of these people are not doing 10 years in jail. The World Health Organization reports that 26% of road deaths in Thailand involve alcohol. In Malaysia, the Road Safety Council estimates that 30% of road accidents are caused by impaired driving. This from the Chiang Rai Times. 30%. That tells you something right there. That is a hell of a lot. All right? Now, there is another suspected case of the monkeypox. Lingpox. Director of Vachira Phuket Hospital has called for people to be patient while tests are conducted to determine whether a 40-year-old man transferred from Talang Hospital today, July 26th, is infected with the monkeypox. The man was transferred from Talang Hospital to Vachira Phuket Hospital this afternoon. That was the 26th. On arrival, he was met by an infectious diseases specialist and kept in isolation. He does not have enlarged lymph nodes. We must wait for PCR tests to determine whether it is monkeypox pathogens or not. This person has no history of exposure to foreigners. Why it always got to be the foreigners? We're always the bad guys. And has not gone out into the community for his job with sales. It couldn't just be a Thai person that came back in and they met up with the Thai person. Or they met up with this person, whoever. Does it say the guy's name? Did I read the guy's name? I don't think so. No. Well, whoever this is. What difference is it if they're a foreigner or they're Thai? The only difference is if it is something that has never. Thai people are coming into the country too, so why wouldn't they be suspect as well? I don't understand their mentality. These are doctors saying this stuff. During this period with surveillance measures for monkeypox, which such cases are found, intensive screening measures must be taken. We must send samples for laboratory tests. It takes about 2-3 days to know the results. Well, they should know any day then. Now, I personally don't think that. Listen, I'm not a doctor. I will say that. But I don't think it's that dangerous of a disease from everything I've read. And apparently the Public Health Ministry agrees with me. They followed my guidance. And they consider that monkeypox is a communicable disease under surveillance. There is no need to upgrade it to dangerous communicable disease. At least not yet. It kind of looks like chickenpox from what I'm looking at here. And let me give you the link. This is from The Nation. I'll give you a link. Stiff penalties here for DUI, going to cost you over 150,000 baht. Well, the thing is, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg back there in the States. You're going to have to pay. You're going to get in some trouble. It's going to go on your record, blah, blah, blah. Here in Thailand, okay, we you can be in jail for 10 years and pay up to 200,000. But if they say, pay us 20,000 and you're going to do 30 days in the can, and it's, we've reduced the sentence to weekends for a month or something, So, interesting, very interesting. Did I put that in there? Yeah, I put it in there. All right. There's your link right there. And you can, if you go down a little ways, you can see what the monkeypox looks like. So if somebody around you has it, I just don't want to live in fear, man. I really don't. I don't want to live in fear my whole life. And I would rather stick my head in the ground sometimes, because I just get, you hear it once, then you hear it again, and then you hear it again, and somebody, and after a while, it's like, it's all that people talk about. After a while, I'm like, fuck, it's too much. It's too much. I can't deal with it. Heard on the radio about a guy that got monkeypox. The blister started in his anus, and they wouldn't test him in the beginning because the blister was one on other parts. Yeah, that's kind of nasty. Well, my kid came home yesterday, and he said, my friend told me that the monkeypox, it's only only the gay people are getting it. And I said, well, I do not believe that is the truth. However, there is some proof that this is being transmitted more easily in the male gay community, apparently male. Now, don't take everything I say with a grain of salt. I am not a medical professional, and I just try to read up, try to pick out what I think is the truth. Because nowadays, it's very difficult to find the truth. You really gotta look deep to get the truth. Passing a law is not the same as enforcing that law. I'll believe any of this shit when it becomes commonplace to tie in for on alike. The World Health Organization said 95% of infections are in the gay community. Is that true? 95? I didn't see that. I remember somebody saying something about it, but I didn't think it was that high. So what it says here, this is from 2 days ago, and this is in The Guardian. It says that in today's newsletter, 98% of monkeypox cases so far are in gay or bisexual men, but a fear of stigmatizing the disease has set public health back. So, you know, who knows exactly what, sometimes I question just what the percentages are and are they accurate, but the bottom line is, you need to be a little bit careful, and if you are uh, part of the gay community, you might want to be extra careful because I'm sure that getting this is not something considered fun. If you've ever had chicken pox or the measles or something like that, it sucks. Fortunately, you don't die. So, anyway, I think that's all I have. I believe that is all I have for now. If you have something to say about the legalization of marijuana, about the Thai, well, one would think 2/4 Asian. One would think that's how it happened. You never know, though. He could have had it on his hand, and he was wiping his butt with his hand. Anyway, if you have something to say about the legalization of marijuana, the new rules that will take place as of January 1st for Thai taxis, tuk-tuks, and motorbikes, or you want to say something about the poxling, monkeypox, I would like to hear what you have to say, so feel free to leave a comment down below. Khop kun, tuk kon, mak. What the hell was I gonna say? Kajop gone. Kajop gone. Kani, na. Alex was going over some different ways to say goodbye, and I was like, oh yeah, I could say Kajop gone. Of course, kanina, that means like, hey, time to get out of here. Dule to eng duai. Take care of yourself also, and I will see you when I see you. Please feel free to leave the thumbs up, to subscribe, and to check the description if you need to contact me or whatever. Lots of ways to help support the channel. I got some things going on, like I said. Next week, going to the weed farm. I thought it would be today, but that's not how it goes. I still have some older videos going up, and I have a couple other places. One in particular that you might find really interesting, and I haven't decided if I'm going to stream from there or not. I think, if you remember, the last time I streamed at night. And I wanted to see how that works because I want to put my videos up at night. However, one of the problems that I face is, first of all, if you start streaming at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, most coffee shops or many coffee shops are ready to close up or they're already closed. Places are closing up or already closed. And there are a lot of things that I can't do because you can't do them at night. So I think the morning streams are probably a better way to go than the evening streams. So I think we're back to the morning streams. I gotta really give it some further thought, but I do believe that. So anyway, like I said, that's all I have. I will see you when I see you. Joke on. See ya later. See ya.